along live from the Man Cave, treadmills and tangents with Coach Aaron Saron and his army of wellness warriors. Live in discussion of all things health and wellness, along with community topics they happen to stumble upon.
And good morning, Omaha. This is Coach coming at you live from the gym.
From the gym.
Here at Gym, another edition of Treadmills and Tangents, your health and wellness show right here in The Answer, 94.5 FM, 1420N. Yes, we are live from the gym. We abandoned the man cubby.
We did abandon the man cubby, but it was good to get a little
change
of scenery.
Change of scenery. And one of the reasons, guys, that we did a change of scenery is we wanted to talk a little bit self-defense today. And we literally just got done training our Muay Thai class, which is our Muay Thai kickboxing class. And as has been in the news with the unfortunate incident in Iowa, self-defense has been a hot topic. We've been getting a lot of calls. People have been hitting us up on Facebook and Twitter about self-defense. So I want to talk about self-defense a little bit here in a second. But first, fellas, what's going on? What's going on in your lives?
Football season for me is starting up.
Sam works up at Hy-Vee, and every time football season comes around, Sam disappears.
He's got that frost warning going on.
The frost warning's going on for the first 2 weeks of September.
What's frost warning?
Scott Frost. That's the big,
well, I know what Scott Frost warning.
What they call it, the frost warning, because
that's
it's like
stupid.
a play on.
They did a whole shirt.
Well, now all of Husker Nation just turned off their radio.
Now you can shut us off, but I am loud and proud Notre Dame fan.
That is true.
Now I appreciate Nebraska. Like, I was a Big 8 fan growing up, and I rooted for Nebraska when they were kicking the crap out of the SEC.
Back in the day.
But so frost warning, is that like? So you guys are putting a bunch of frost stuff on sale? No, Nebraska. You just have a big tent sale, right?
It's a big tent sale. We do a 100 by 80 tent in our parking lot of Nebraska apparel, just sports memorabilia.
And that's for 2 weeks?
That's for 2 weeks. So we start setting up. Our first day open is the Thursday before the first game.
Okay, so the Thursday before Labor Day weekend, check out your Hy-Vees specifically.
Just 108th and Fort.
Only 108th. Specific to that one.
Yeah,
108th and Fort Hy-Vee, the big tent sale.
Tent.
Yeah.
Lots of sports.
Anything you need.
Sports merchandise and memorabilia. Do they food?
This year we're going to do food. I think on Saturdays during.
They roll out that big smoker. A couple of the Hy-Vees have those big smokers they roll out.
We put it out. It's out there.
It is delish. The ribs coming off of that are delish.
We're going to work on having a grill out there doing like hot dogs and stuff for the kids. We're talking about doing that, and so yeah, it's
well, check it out, guys. If you're out there, we will be in Tulsa Labor Day weekend. We'll be recording live from Tulsa.
We will. That's all I got going on.
We make an annual trip for a Muay Thai seminar down in Tulsa. We take a bunch of our coaches and our students down there, and that's usually where we do our testing under our instructor to make new instructors.
Yeah, it's
in
awesome.
the gym. But yeah,
it's a great time.
But check out your Hy-Vee Labor Day weekend, and football season starts. So that's always exciting time of the year.
Always.
What I always find funny is when you walk into not just Hy-Vee, all the grocery stores, they have those big walls built out of soda cases, like a great wall of sodas. It's
either that or beer, Bud. Bud will do a big wall
both the healthiest choice you can find.
Now, are those actually full cases, or are they just
No, they're full cases. They're full cases.
I've always wondered what happened when those things fall over.
Not
Like
anything pretty or good.
Kid,
has it happened?
Some kid pulls the one out from the bottom and it all goes crashing down.
It has happened. We've had aisles tip over before.
Really?
Oh yeah.
How?
Just someone doesn't put the footing on the aisle right.
So that helpful smile in every
someone
aisle.
got fired for that.
One of the stores actually lost their whole pasta aisle. So pasta sauce. I'm not going to name a store, but they lost the whole pasta sauce.
That has got to be a mess, but I bet that store smelled delicious for like 6 months.
I'm glad I wasn't there on that one. But
what kind of a loss when an entire aisle falls over? Especially perishables and the glass
like
breakables.
That's thousands of dollars you're talking. Oh, you figure it's probably 8 foot of pasta sauce, and you probably lost 90% of it. You're looking at a couple thousand just that alone.
Can you imagine just being a store manager and you hear the crash?
And the crash and the crash and the crash.
And you just go, please tell me I didn't hear that.
That's every time I hear glass go. I'm like,
oh no.
Do I want to turn around that corner?
Yeah, but it's one thing to hear a glass, but when the whole aisle goes
I bet that was loud.
That had to sound like a bomb went off.
Luckily, when our store a long time ago, we had our old candy aisle fell over. We moved some aisles, and because you can move the whole aisle, like they can bring in a machine to lift up the whole aisle and move it.
Right.
But
I don't want that job because I feel like.
But luckily, it was just the candy, so you don't lose a whole lot in the candy. It's all packaged.
You bet it wasn't just cans. You get that dented can day, 50 cents.
Spilled candy day.
Come get it. What was that movie where
Big Daddy?
He kept throwing the cans on the ground, they were denting them, and he was like dented can day. That's awesome.
Adam Sandler, that's great.
No doubt. Well, guys, let's get to it. Let's talk self-defense. I've taught, in my career, a bunch of self-defense seminars and women's anti-rape seminars. And I think there's a big misconception about what self-defense is and is not. And unfortunately, it's more the is not. I feel like people go to a self-defense seminar or a personal security seminar expecting to learn something that's going to save their life. And unfortunately, it just doesn't work like that.
Sure.
There's no magic tool or move I could teach anybody in an hour's time that they're going to be able to execute proficiently out in the street to save their life. And one of the big things, and I literally just had this conversation. I spoke at the Young Catholic Professionals organization earlier this past week, and a young lady walked up to me asking me about self-defense. I said, yeah, I teach self-defense. She goes, well, I was wondering, do you guys have classes? I said, no, I don't. And she kind of looked at me. I was like, what do you mean?
What?
It's a martial arts school. And I said, look, hear me out. I said, if you come and ask me, hey, I want to learn self-defense, my response is going to be, okay, what do you want to defend against?
That's a fair question.
Because I have no idea. The things that could happen to you out in the world are infinite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, there's no way I could prepare you for everything. Like, you wanted to learn to defend a knife? Great, I can teach you to defend a knife. Then somebody walks up and punches you in the mouth. Okay, we didn't practice that.
Right.
You want to learn if somebody grabs you, what do I do? And then they pull a knife. Uh-oh, we didn't practice that.
Right.
Like, there's too many things that could happen for quote-unquote self-defense to be taught. And why do I say that? Because one, again, there's too much that could happen. Two, it's a perishable skill.
Yeah.
Just like anything else.
Right, absolutely.
Right. We could practice it for an hour, but how quickly, one, you haven't even learned it. Yeah. It's not muscle memory. And how quickly does that disintegrate? Very fast. Just like anything else. Like being in shape. You work out and get in shape, and how long does it take to get out of shape? Pretty quick, right? It happens pretty quick.
I think some places are kind of taking the self-defense thing after what happened as like, oh, we're going to do this. And then everybody gets like these women and probably some men too are excited like, oh, I'm going to go do self-defense. But then, yeah, you do it and you're like, oh, I feel better. Like, I know I'm going to defend myself. But you really don't. Like, and I think part of it is a placebo thing. But in my opinion, if you're going to do it, you've got to go and do something and keep doing it and always learn and adjust and do it and do it and do it. Because anybody who's good at anything didn't just become good at it just because they did it one time. Like, you don't shoot a free throw 1,000 times in a row. Like you're good at it. You shoot it once and you make it. That doesn't mean you're great at shooting free throws.
Well,
it means one time you did
concept.
good.
Malcolm Gladwell studied the concept of a savant. Like, how do these people that are savants? How does this happen? Like, they're just born with this innate talent, and that's where he came up with his 10,000 hour rule. He studied violinists. Like, why are these violinists so good? And he realized it's just deliberate practice of a skill for 10,000 hours, and he mastered that skill. It's no different for martial arts. It's no different for self-defense. So to think you can learn something in an hour self-defense class that's going to be applicable is just unreasonable. And unfortunately, I think most self-defense classes give people a false sense of security. Even when you do the Red Man classes and you go in there and it's an all-day seminar, and at the end you have your test and you get to hit the Red Man and scream and yell, no, 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 no. It's great. It's empowering. It gives you some confidence. But there's no way you're going to likely pull that off in 2 days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Because remember, like, self-defense, the act of it, like when things bad happen, it's sudden, it's violent, it's emotional, there's adrenaline, there's fear, there's panic. All those things you cannot replicate in one day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right? And nobody expects, like, if you're ready for something, that's different. But I don't know how many people that were attacked said they were ready for it.
Yeah. Well, and who knows what's happened? Like we were talking earlier, we don't even know. The details haven't come out for that case in Iowa. Like, did that guy hit her with his car? Did he bump her? Did he come up behind her? You have no idea.
You have no idea.
There's a million different scenarios.
And it's easy to say, and I jokingly said, well, I lesson learners don't go off running by yourself in the middle of nowhere. And that's a terrible thing to say. A lot of people are going to jump me for that. But at the same time, my personal opinion is the number one self-defense is awareness.
Agreed.
Like knowing where you're at, knowing who you're around, knowing where you're going to go.
Trying to not put yourself in a situation.
And try not to put yourself in a situation. And granted, yes, in the utopian world, we should be able to walk down the street freely and not have any fear of anything. That's just not reality.
Right.
It's just not reality.
Some people are just messed up and don't,
In terrible cases where somebody drinks too much and is taken advantage of sexually and raped, yes, it's a terrible thing that happened. But at the same time, don't overdrink and get so drunk that you black out around people you don't know. Like,
sure.
To me, that's awareness. Like that's not. It's not even about. It is preventative medicine. It's like just being aware of what you're doing, being aware of, did I have too much to drink? Who's around me? Should I be out here by myself? Did I forget where I parked my car? Like, I've done that. I've walked around going, I can't remember where my car is, right? Yeah. You're a prime target for somebody waiting for you. So I don't want to say don't take a self-defense class, but what I want to tell everybody is understand what you're getting when you take a self-defense class.
And maybe use it as you do it and you try something and then you're like, oh, well, I kind of like that, and use it to segue into something else where you can keep that training going. I can't tell you how many people, when we do our onboarding, and we'll do stuff, and then I demo it and they're like, holy smokes, like, man, you're really good at that. I'm like, well, I've been doing this for 10 years. I hope by now I make it look fairly seamless and I'm good at it because I've done it a lot. Like, I really hope I'm good at it. But when I started, I'm sure I looked like a fish out of water and had no idea what I was doing.
Right. So when I teach, when I do brown bags about self-defense and women's personal safety, one of the first things I talk about is awareness. And I think that's number one, awareness and running away. So speaking of self-defense class, I want to tell everybody, we're going to have one. We're going to hold one here at Mid-America Martial Arts. We're going to do it Friday, September 7th. So we're going to do a happy hour self-defense class.
Let's do it.
Okay,
right.
And then we'll have a good time. Maybe we'll go out and actually have happy hour. We're going to do it 5:30 to 6:30. 1 hour. I think, anything more than an hour, it's going to be overkill and you can't retain that anyway. But again, we're going to talk awareness. We're going to talk some basics that can keep you safe, things you can do, not to do fisticuffs with somebody, right? But to prevent that from even happening,
Absolutely.
right? And I think prevention is the best self-defense and and we'll do some hands-on stuff, but it's mostly just to mitigate and run and get out of there. But we'll talk basics. We'll talk basics about where to park your car, right? Home safety. I love talking about home safety.
Home safety's big. People
like,
do a lot of that.
Do you secure your house? Do you lock your doors? Where do you park your car? How many lights do you have? Where do you park your car when you go to the grocery store? Do you unlock it? Things like that. Do you unlock it before you get there? And I know a lot of people like to carry weapons. It's very in vogue right now to have your concealed carry. And I think if there's any false sense of security, it's having a concealed carry.
Sure.
For various reasons. One, a gun isn't always the answer. Two, just because you have a concealed carry, do you always have it on you? And if you do have it on you, where is it and can you get to it fast enough? I know a lot of people who carry it in their purse or have it in their car. There's no way they're going to get to it fast enough.
Well, even if you have it, how often do you shoot? Like, I have mine.
Well, yeah.
I don't think I've gone shooting in the past year. So if I was in a situation where I had to use that.
Well, it's not just having to use it. One, like you said, it's a perishable skill.
Yeah.
How often do you shoot? Even our own police departments don't shoot enough, in my opinion. And everybody knows that, right? But how often do you shoot it? Can you hit the broadside of a barn? Now can you do it under duress when you're panicked and someone's attacking you?
Or are you trying to
A wholly different story there.
Totally different scenario.
What if you're even trying to defend your family? I think that's like a next level up. Defending yourself, I think, is one thing. But if I had to do that, but if someone's trying to attack my wife and son, I feel like my emotional level is going to be even higher, which is going to be even harder for me to control my emotion to be able to defend. Because now it's not just me. Now I'm trying to defend my family, which I think is a level even above.
Sure, and there's a reason, right? If you've ever read the book On Combat, it talks about why trained combatants, why training is so important, because even trained police officers, trained military personnel, like when the fight or flight mechanism kicks in, right? And he goes through areas where he goes, you're in the red zone, you're in the yellow zone, you're in the green zone. When you get into the red zone, your brain function just stops. You're in fight or flight mode, right? You can't remember how many times you squeeze the trigger. You can't remember your own name, right? You get tunnel vision and your brain fogs out, right? And that happens all the time. That's why when people say, oh, I can't believe the cop didn't remember what happened. No, it's biologically and psychologically proven. That's what happens under great duress and panic and a violent confrontation, right? Mm-hmm. Now we're supposed to expect the average Joe who happened to take a day-long concealed carry course is suddenly going to function under those circumstances. Sure. Like, it just isn't. Yeah. Even in self-defense in general, right? Even trained fighters can't necessarily defend themselves in the street.
Sure.
right? Trained fighters, like UFC fighters, right? What are they going to do against a knife necessarily, or a baseball bat,
fighting in a cage,
or multiple muggers, right? It just doesn't. Rickson Gracie, who's considered the greatest jiu-jitsu practitioner to ever walk the planet, has said different times, hey, you know what? In the street, if a knife comes out, it's a different scenario. I'm the greatest jiu-jitsu player ever, but the knife just completely changes the equation.
Yeah. Yeah, for
right?
sure.
And then you get somebody who knows how to use a knife. So that's why, to me, self-defense is so tough. And a lot of people try to cash in on it, and which our self-defense class completely free, guys. 100% free. We might charge something and donate it, but we're not looking to make money on it. We just want to help people raise awareness and help keep themselves safe. I've done self-defense classes where, like, mom and daughter, and then what would the mom do if the daughter was there when there was a confrontation?
Yeah.
Yeah, so how do you handle that?
Yeah,
those are always kind of fun to do.
Yeah, I think it amps up. Like I was saying, I think it's that next level where you just go. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps and getting like just thinking about it. Like something happened and I've got to defend my family. Like that's a whole nother,
You're in that red zone for sure.
right? And you get
people all the time will joke towards me. You probably never have a problem out in the street. You train and just look at you. I go, well, one, I avoid it. Yeah. It's not that I've never been in that situation. I just avoid it. Like I'm the guy that just leaves, or buys someone a beer and just leaves. Like I just stay out of the situation altogether. But I try to tell people, like, what would you do if somebody would come up and I go, well, is my family with me? Like, well, yeah. I go, I'm pulling my knife. Really? You'd pull a knife like as well as you can fight? I go, we're talking self-defense, right?
Right.
Why wouldn't I pull my knife?
Right. Yeah.
If I have a weapon, why would you not
use it?
would I not pull my weapon?
Not your odds to protect your family.
And to be honest, I tell people when some people ask me, hey, if you're going to teach someone to defend themselves, what's the first thing you teach them? I say, how to use a knife. Like, why? I go, because I can get somebody more proficient at using a weapon faster than I can at boxing or jiu-jitsu or wrestling or any other hand-to-hand combat. Sure. That's just fact. Like, if you really want to defend yourself, I'll teach you to use a knife. And I'll be like, well, I don't really want to use a knife. Then I say, well, then you really don't want to defend yourself.
Right. Yeah, if it comes down to it, like, you've got, I mean...
You've got knives in your house.
Yeah. Right. Well,
knives in a
and
restaurant.
it's you or them. It may get to a point where, like, you may not really want to stab somebody, but do you really want to die? Like, you got to pick. Well, but I mean, it's scary and it's sad, but that's just a reality.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times, I mean, obviously you can read Facebook and people just don't want to acknowledge reality. We've gotten to a point what I believe is my reality or what I want to believe can be my reality.
Anything I put on the internet is real, man.
And here's an example. One of the moms today was talking, and she was online, and there was some banter going on about that poor girl in Iowa. And the mom made a comment, I'm going to have my daughter run with a stun gun now. And somebody came out and said, well, how bad would you feel if your daughter killed somebody with that stun gun? And then the other mom was like, are you out of your mind? Somebody attacks my daughter. Yeah. Why would I care if she killed that person? Like,
she came home alive? Oh, I'm so mad at her. Like, seriously?
But I think it's just like the reality of like, well, all lives matter. Like, I get that, but there are bad people out there. Like, and if that bad person like engages my daughter, my 10-year-old daughter, hey.
Yeah, do your worst.
It is what it is. My daughter, in defending herself, accidentally kills that person. Oh, it is what it is.
Right.
I'm not saying you go out of your way to do it. Like, any loss of life is terrible.
Right.
But there's just bad people out there.
Yeah, like that guy who, killed his wife and kids. There's bad people everywhere. It's not even just some woman running in her hometown. There's that one too, which is a crazy tragedy on its own as well. Like I think everywhere.
Back. I grew up in small town Pennsylvania, and it's a town of 2,000 people, 2,500 max, and our sister town right across the bridge, across the river, had 5,000. So 2 towns, not even 10,000 people. And now, mind you, you're growing up in the 70s, into the 80s, and the entire town was our playground. Like, we rode our bikes. We were miles from home. We were at the playground, no adult supervision, and no, not a thought in the world someone could have snatched us at any point.
Yeah.
Even our parents didn't have that thought in the world. Like, I was in kindergarten, I walked down to the bus stop by myself.
Oh, I used to walk to the bus stop all the time.
It's crazy.
And I hate this idea that, it's different now. I'm like, well, did the nut house suddenly let out, or are we just more aware?
I think we're more aware of it because of social media, the news.
Everything's instant.
It's
the
instant
internet.
now. So,
Which is good, especially like things like Amber Alert when somebody's missing. You know right away. I think that's great. But I think it also causes paranoia. Like nobody wants to let their kids go to the playground anymore.
Right.
Well, there was a thing on the news just this morning about a mom being turned in for letting her 8-year-old walk the dog by herself around the block.
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
child services got called.
Yeah.
on.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
So
one
I
bit.
mean, around the block, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I would walk. To
Well, there's
school.
actually a law that at what age you can leave them home alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which I don't know, which it's terrible because I'm a parent.
I think 10.
When I was a kid, my mom would leave my brother and I, as a matter of fact, for a while, she would leave us and go do errands. She came back one day and she was like, why does something smell like
Parties
burning?
involved will remain nameless to protect the innocent. or the guilty in this.
So
in
for
this
a
case.
while, we had been doing this thing where, we would eat, dinners with cardboard and stuff. So we would get it and just light a little bit with a lighter. We thought it was cool. Well, then we would hide the boxes under the couch. So finally she comes home one day and apparently we didn't give ourselves enough of a buffer. And she's like, what's this? She lifts the couch. There's all the evidence. We were screwed.
You got
we could have lit
tore
the
up.
house on
You
fire.
got tore up.
We could have lit. As a kid, we had no freaking idea, though. Looking back, I'm like, holy crap, I was a moron.
Me and my little sister used to get left alone all
We
the
used to
time
do
too.
some dumb
Oh, yeah.
stuff, man. We put a magnet on the side of the TV, jack the
But
TV
now,
all up.
how often do you see kids now? We'd be 5, 6 kids, a gang of kids on our bike, just riding around
you
town
don't
by
see that
ourselves.
anymore.
I honestly would love to, and a part of me is sad that my kids aren't going to get to grow up in that small town environment and that small town vibe, because everybody knew everybody, and I think that's part of the reason why we felt so comfortable, because everybody knew everybody, and if a strange car or a strange person came into town, everybody went, "Who's
were all
that?
aware of it.
Who's that?"
Yeah, the whole town knows what's up.
Yeah.
Who's here? You know what's funny? Here's a funny story. This is totally you guys ever seen the movie The Outsiders?
Yeah.
We're the Socias and the Greasers. So where I grew up, it's each town had its own high school. So the sports leagues were just town versus town. So it was always bitter rivals. And a bunch of kids in our town got into it with a bunch of kids from the rival town. And it was almost going to be this street gang fight. And there's this big bridge between the two towns, this long bridge. I want to equate it to the Golden Gate Bridge. It's nothing like that.
But when you were a kid, it looked at me. Yeah.
So we had gotten into it, and then word got out that, hey, there was going to be this big fight, this big brawl. So we all gathered. I want to say I was in 9th or 10th grade at the time. We all gathered by the bank, getting ready. I mean, there was baseball bats.
Oh, it was getting real.
There was. I mean, there were kids, that were already out of high school that were still in the town, just showing up. I heard there's a brawl. Listen, so
Get the crowbar.
And then so on this bridge at one point, it was 5 or 6 kids from our town had met up with 5 or 6 kids where cars got stopped in the middle of the bridge and they got out, right? Traffic,
Yeah.
So they felt better not to. They realized, hey, we probably shouldn't fight on a bridge. So they went their ways, or some adults came and broke it up. But it was going to be okay, it's going to happen in our town. So I remember standing there, and it was my buddy Todd. He was a couple years older than me, and he was one of the tough kids in the town. And we were standing there waiting. When's this going to happen? When's this going to happen? And all of a sudden he goes, "Hey, is that them? Who's that?" And the car drove by, and they go, "Who was that?" He goes, "I don't know, but I didn't recognize the car, so it's got to be somebody we don't like, right?" just because he didn't recognize the car, he's like, "Who is that?" That was hilarious.
That's awesome.
But yeah, total story from a small town USA. That's what.
But you don't
happens.
see kids running around in groups like that anymore. Even when I was a kid, we used to do that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's good and bad. It's just sad that we're at that time where there's just that much paranoia. And then something like what just happened now happens, it just, heightens it even more. Yeah. There's probably not going to be a woman jogging by herself for the next 6 months in the Midwest. And that's sad. That really is sad because we shouldn't have to live like that.
Yeah, that they don't feel comfortable being able to go for a run, especially. And it's not, I mean, in our own town, too. It's crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. So we're going to do that, guys. Self-defense seminar with us here at Mid-America Martial Arts. And your hosts. You get to come train with the hosts of Treadmills and Tangents.
I better start doing push-ups.
It's going to be happy hour self-defense clinic. We're going to talk about awareness. We're going to talk about just some common practices to do to keep you safe and keep your family safe. That's going to be Friday, September 7th. We're going to do it at 5:30 to 6:30. So a little bit of happy hour.
Yeah, bring your phones. You can get some pictures with us. If you want to get that local celebrity status on your Facebook page.
You know what it is.
I might have to shave that
maybe
day.
We'll head over to one of our favorite watering holes in Addie's. Addie's right down the road.
If anybody wants to join us, talk about anything,
Speaking of, Sam makes a good point, guys. If you want one of the best sandwiches in town,
no doubt,
Addie's BLT. Now, here's how you got to order it. You got to order it.
You got to get it correct.
This
isn't on the menu, although we've tried to get them to put on the menu. But see, so Addie's BLT is on 2 big pieces of sourdough toast, but you got to get it with double bacon and 2 sunny side up eggs on it.
Oh yeah,
2 fried eggs.
Mouth watering right now.
It is monstrous. It is a belly filler and it's delish.
And if you get it without the sourdough, keto.
It's blasphemy.
Yeah, I think in this case you got to go with this. I'm
just saying,
hey,
if you're
being
strict,
otherwise,
if you're being strict, you're gonna call a flag for me trying to get into better shape and help people. I feel like that's un-American.
But I think in this case you have to.
It's hard to eat without the bread, for the record.
It is.
I did it once. It brought to me on lettuce, and I was like,
how do you eat a fried egg without? How do you pick up a fried egg?
Yeah,
it gets messy.
You don't.
Yeah,
it gets very messy.
I just was like dipping my lettuce in trying to eat it. It was bad, man.
But it's good.
It is amazing. Yeah,
it is.
Shout out to Addie's
BLT, double bacon, throw some egg on it. It's fabulous. Maybe we'll do that.
Yeah,
Friday after self-defense seminar. Yeah, who knows? All right, guys, we got the food truck. Although we don't have a food truck sound effect, unfortunately, but we're gonna we picked up some Blue Buddha tea. From the organic section over at Hy-Vee. Sam grabbed these. We got Blue Buddha, organic wellness tea. And it literally is a picture of a Blue Buddha on the front of it. And skinny Buddha, not fat Buddha. So we were in Thailand, and it's Buddhist religion over there, and we went to the temple where the king was recently buried to pay our respects. And I started to ask the question, I go, why are there 2 Buddhas? A skinny Buddha and a fat Buddha.
Yeah.
And I learned that the fat Buddha is from China and the skinny Buddha is everywhere else.
Yep.
Yeah. So China's the only one that.
So this is
fat Buddha.
And we're not. I'm not making light of Buddhism or Buddha, guys. I'm just saying the picture on the Blue Buddha's. There it is. Thank you. So we got blue skinny Buddha. We got cherry lavender and ashwagandha. This is what I was asking Sam about.
Yes.
So recently I went to one of the local testosterone booster clinics, for lack of a better term. And I went to Mentality, actually, is where I went. And I didn't go to get testosterone treatment. I just went to get my blood checked. I like to get my blood checked every couple of years and do a full workup. And so I went and got it checked. And my testosterone levels were fine. My free testosterone was low. And the nurse there said, hey, try this ashwagandha supplement. It's a natural supplement, and it's been shown to raise your levels of free testosterone. And so I have been taking it. I got some. I've been taking it religiously for about 6 months now. So this Blue Buddha has it in it. So ashwagandha is shown to raise your natural testosterone levels. And what it also does is that it reduces brain dumping. It reduces stress in your body.
Oh, okay.
Right, so it's a stress reducer, and not like stress like I feel like cell stress is what I'm talking about. Cell stress in your body as well.
Well, this is
so it almost will help you with probably like memory and stuff like that.
It's shown as a wellness drink, so that would make sense. That's probably a smart thing for them to put in there to really, they've obviously marketed it well.
So our teas contain ashwagandha, maitake mushroom, and Indian gooseberry, otherwise known as amia, which are traditionally used in. Oh, I'm gonna screw this up. Ayurveda to help sharpen focus, counteract the effects of stress, see, told you, and support immune system and cardiovascular function.
Nice.
So in Buddhist and Ayurvedic tradition, drinkable elixirs to keep people healthy balance, healing not only the body, but the mind and spirit as well. All right, Blue Buddha is known as the medicine Buddha. Oh, okay, I'm tracking now.
Oh, that makes
Acuity,
sense.
Immunity, and vitality. So, Sam, which one do you have?
I got the blueberry rose.
I got cherry lavender. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Usually stuff with lavender I think tastes horrible.
Yeah.
Let's find out.
Well, I will say the blueberry rose by far is the most popular seller out of the
I'm
four.
a little worried the pop didn't.
I already popped them.
Okay.
I was trying to. I did that so we didn't get it on the radio though. I didn't want everybody's speakers to.
Not for me.
The blueberry's not too bad. It's okay.
Not for me. but I think that's because it's the lavender.
That's pretty good.
Blueberry's not bad.
I'm not a fan of it.
Let's try that.
Which one? I'm gonna try the blueberry rose. Not for me either.
I don't know.
I'm not saying this isn't a good product.
Ooh, that's good.
I like the cherry lavender
Yeah, the
better.
cherry lavender is good.
So it's only 40 calories per bottle, 10 grams of sugar, and nothing else in it really, other than a bunch of natural herbs and spices.
I bet it's better, even better cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, we refrigerate after. Actually, this was cold, and bringing it here, I left it in my truck by accident.
It's all good.
And I don't know. I mean, you guys like it?
I liked them. I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah, the aftertaste on that blueberry one was a little.
You know, and
Yeah,
the
but the
truth
cherry lavender's
told,
good.
I haven't liked like any of the teas. I think we've tried.
that's
to be
true.
honest. So maybe
You are
not.
particular about your tea.
You
though,
are
let's
a
be
straight
honest.
like iced tea with a little bit of like
See,
raspberry.
so
You like raspberry iced
I
tea.
like just unsweet tea.
Right.
Right.
You don't want that sweet tea?
Well, don't get me wrong. I like me some sweet tea, right? I do. A little half and half, half sweet. Like when you go, my mom lives in North Carolina. I got to be careful when I order tea down there because you're getting sweet tea.
Oh, you're getting a gallon of sugar.
So I even half and half is too much for me. So I go, hey, give me like 3/4 and a quarter.
Like, just give me a bump of the sweet tea.
But for some reason, like these other organic teas, I don't know what it is.
Not for your palate.
Yeah, my tongue just freaks out. I don't know what it is, and it's not the sugar. I'm like, because I can drink just regular unsweet tea. It's just
I can drink sugar. It's great.
Yeah, no doubt. What was funny is the other weekend we were someone was talking about mojitos, and they had asked me, Aaron, mojitos are all right to drink, aren't they? There's nothing bad in it. I go, dude, they're made of sugar water.
Yeah. That's why they taste so good.
Right. It's simple sugar. Like a simple sugar water is what is the main ingredient of mojito. So no, they're not good. They taste great. Don't get me wrong. But all right, so Blue Buddha, check it out, guys. Thumbs up from Tim and Sam.
And they had 2 or 3 other flavors.
There's 4 flavors total.
Yeah.
It's USDA organic. With
They had a cherry
Ascalon,
one too, right? No, I thought
Cherry
there was
lavender?
a different cherry one. Maybe not?
No.
Do you remember what the other 2 were?
I don't remember the other
Let's
2.
look them up real quick.
It's
I
got
can
a lot
tell you
of
the
stuff
colors.
in
You
it.
got the blue for blueberry, the purple for cherry lavender. There's a red, and then there's like a green colored one. I probably should know them, but it's kind of hard
Do you sell these in your organic section?
to.
You gotta know your product, man.
That is
know
true,
your product.
but it's also tough to know.
That's like a
like
pet
thousands
peeve of mine.
and thousands
That's a true
of
statement.
products.
You got a lot of product in there.
So-
it's like a huge pet peeve of mine when I go to a restaurant and the waiter or waitress hasn't tried everything on the menu.
Yeah.
like that.
Well, that's
I
never
hate
happened.
that.
I will say I do try to try everything in my department though, so I can tell an actual,
As you should.
to the customer what I think of it, and so I might not know everything about the product, but I will try it all.
Well, you have to be able to speak to it. It's like a waiter or a waitress should be able to speak to the menu. Like, hey, I've tried this and it appeals to this kind of palate. Like a wine. Like, how can you pair a wine if you haven't tried them all? Right. So you got. I don't know.
Oh,
Like,
we've experienced firsthand about that one.
that bothers me. Like, it's like cheeses. You don't have
So
to
you
like all the
don't know.
cheeses, but you have to appreciate them. Like if
Yeah.
you're going to serve them.
So
you will
there's
always
a-
ask that question at a restaurant.
Have you tried everything?
Have you tried everything? What do you recommend? That's the
Well,
Well,
first I'll ask,
first-
what do you recommend? And then I go, wait a minute, have you tried everything?
Yes.
And they go, well, no. Then I'm like, okay, get away from me.
then how can you recommend it? You look at them like they're stupid. You're like,
So the other 2 flavors are lemon elderflower and raspberry hibiscus.
Elderflower.
Yeah,
bet
we
that
saw
raspberry
that one and we were like,
hibiscus is good.
What's an elderflower?
a flower that's old,
How old?
elderly.
Like respect your elderflowers. Look that up. Tell me what an elderflower
Google
is.
this.
Let's Google our elderflowers and respect our elderflowers. Now, is it? Anyway, I was gonna make a poor joke right there about an elderflower.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
Elderflower cordial.
Oh, so
Oh, that's a drink.
that's a
elderflower.
culture. Yeah, the elderflower.
Give me an
bud.
elderflower. Maybe there's no such thing as an elderflower.
Made it up.
I don't know.
It just sounded good.
Here it is. What is elderflower? Commonly used in British drinks and desserts, elderflower is the white blossom of the elderberry tree. Before it's turned into food, it looks like
I
this.
like elderberries. I like elderberries.
Elderflowers are delicate in flavor, unlike other flowers. They don't quite pack as much of a strong punch, so even if you hate flavored foods. Holy smokes!
Floral
You're not
flavored
buying
foods.
dishes.
Say that 5 times.
I couldn't say it
floral
once.
flavored foods.
I don't know if I
So
can
the-
say
Floral
it.
flavored food. Floral flavored food. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't
Well, now
do
you
it.
spit all over the mic too. Good thing you have your own side, because good lord.
And everybody try that at home. Say floral flavored foods 5 times as fast as you can.
Good lord.
That's going to be very slow if
Absolutely.
I say it.
Yeah, so don't forget that seminar, guys. Come check it out.
September
tell your
7th.
September
friends.
7th,
We'll get a post
5:30.
out there.
Happy hour self-defense clinic. We're going to talk for an hour about awareness and some things you can do. And it's right here at Mid-America Martial Arts. We're located right off 144th and Chandler Road in Old Chalco. Those who've been around for a while know where Old Chalco is. It's a part of Millard, south of Millard, right by the railroad tracks. And we're just down the hill from the old Mackey elevator, the grain elevator. At the
I
top
love
of
that
the hill
thing.
there.
Yeah.
That's what I usually tell people. Like, where's your gym? I'm like, when you drive down 144th and you see that
big
elevator? Yeah, like
Big
right on the other
grain
side of the hill.
silo. Yeah.
Maybe get a BLT after.
To help with the landmarks, guys, it's the first road south of Harrison, right? So if you're coming down 144th, you hit that light at Harrison, go to the next light, make a right, up and over the hill, and then you'll see us at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah.
Holding down the fort, holding down Old Chalco.
And if you guys need directions or anything, hit up the Treadmills and Tangents Facebook page or jump on the Mid-America Martial Arts Facebook page.
Yeah, speaking of, we
Send a
just
message.
launched our new website,
It is awesome.
MidAmericaMartialArts.com.
It is sweet, yeah.
We got some video and some
the-
interactive stuff going on
It's
there.
also much better on your phone. The mobile version
Yeah.
of that thing is amazing.
Yeah, our mobile version was not good before.
It was a little complicated to find
But,
stuff.
big thanks to Matt Wright for helping design that and get it up and running. But again, guys, September 7th, self-defense seminar, free of charge. Just show up, hang out for an hour. We're going to talk about some good things. We'll get some hands-on stuff going on. And we're probably going to do this bi or tri-weekly for the community. And again, we're not here to make money on it. We're just here to help people out and give people some confidence and some tools to help them out.
Bring that selfie stick.
Bring that selfie still. No doubt. Okay, guys, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Treadmills and Tangents right here on The Answer, 98.45 FM, 1420 AM. We are the health and wellness show of the Big O. We'll be right back. When you walk into Mid-America Martial Arts, you're walking into more than punching and kicking. You're walking into a community, and that is what I think sets us apart from everybody else. We train anywhere from 4 years old, and we have students as old as in their 60s here. Our main programs are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai kickboxing, Judo, as well as our strength and conditioning program, which is our Training for Warriors program. Our main goal is that when people leave here, they feel better about themselves. They're a little bit better as a person, they feel a little bit about their life, they feel better about their day. Now, everybody holds baggage, everybody has stress. This is the place where they can come in and put all that away for a little bit and work on themselves. Yeah, do we hope they can defend themselves better? Sure. Do we hope they can punch and kick a little better? Absolutely. None of that matters if they don't feel good about themselves. And that's the main key. If they can walk out of here feeling good about themselves, feeling good about their life, then we've won that day.
Mid-America Martial Arts, located at 14951 Chandler Road in Millard. Give them a call at 402-813-1721 or visit midamericamartialarts.com.
And welcome back, guys. You're listening to Treadmills and Tangents right here in The Answer, your health and wellness show. Guys, let's talk. I want to talk barefoot. Oh. Because I have sexy feet. The damn sexy. Actually, I got the worst and ugliest feet on the planet. Did you guys see that picture I posted? My daughter trying to give me a pedicure.
Yeah.
No, I did not.
I did.
That had to have been rough.
So she, anybody that sees, I'm barefoot all the time, and my feet look like caveman feet.
Did she
It's
take a
like-
sander to that thing?
So she gets
Grinder,
this.
dude. That angle grinder.
She gets this pumice stone out, right? And there's a picture. I posted it on Facebook. And my foot's propped up on the tub, and she's in the tub, right? And she starts going. It's making like this sound. It's going like this pumice stone on my heel. She goes, "Oh my God, Daddy, the noise! Oh!" And she starts going again. Just, "Oh my gosh, I can't!" Right? I'm just dying laughing. I'm like, "Keep going!" Right?
These feet ain't gonna clean themselves.
You haven't earned that food yet.
But anyway, we do all of our training here at Mid-America barefoot.
Yep.
Even our weightlifting, all of
yep.
our conditioning, all of our running. Except when we go outside, we'll throw some shoes on.
You don't want to catch a nail in the foot.
Well, you don't want to step on rocks or anything like that, and stuff. And a lot of times the pavement's hot. So, but a lot of people are concerned about barefoot training. They don't feel comfortable barefoot training, or they're not sure if it's safe. And I get it. People have fetish. We have some people that train with socks on all the time.
Yep.
And which is perfectly fine. Barefoot's not for everybody. But I've personally found that, barefoot training is incredibly safe, and my body feels great when I train barefoot. There's a lot of reasons why to train barefoot, not to train barefoot. But we know, like, there's a lot of research and studies that show that the footwear that we wear as humans actually, in a lot of cases, does more damage to us than good. For a number of reasons. Our feet get weak. We have unnatural arch support from shoes we normally wouldn't have. Our ankles are unstable when we're in shoes. Shoes, if the heels aren't level or the heels are raised. Women know, you guys know what high heels do to your feet. So don't talk to me that they're good for your feet.
Yeah, they go home and then they just sit on the couch.
So, and if you look at your feet and if your toes are turned in, which if you wear heels for a lot, you'll see your big toes get turned in, your little toes get turned in. It's just, think about that. You've changed the natural foot pattern of your body, and your body's just not as stable from shoes in a lot of cases. Now, you can get proper shoes, and this is where the minimalist movement came in, and everybody's wearing the toe shoes and the minimalist shoes, and my thought was, well, just go barefoot.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm barefoot as much as I can, even at home. I mow the lawn barefoot. I do everything. I've walked in the stores around town barefoot because I leave here not paying attention. I hop in my car and walk into the gas station barefoot. I mean, humans were meant to be barefoot. It is what it is, right?
That's true.
And if you think about just natural foot strike and natural stability and a natural platform, right? We should have broad feet. Like my feet, I got wide feet, really wide feet. And I think that's largely because I'm always barefoot. Like wide feet, my toes are spread apart. And I think it's just naturally how your feet will get and should look, if you're barefoot all the time. So why wouldn't you exercise barefoot?
Yeah, I like it.
I've done it for years now.
Yeah.
It's great.
And there's a lot of science behind it. There's a lot of people. There's actually certifications you can get for barefoot training. Which, how the heck do you certify somebody?
Yeah,
okay, take your shoes off.
Okay,
you're certified.
Nailed it. Hey, three certifications right here if anyone wants to send us a certificate.
Now, there are some cases where, like, if you're weightlifting, where a raised heel can be beneficial if you have an immobility issue in your ankles, and your knees, and your hips, right? But that's an immobility issue. Right, that can be worked on to where you shouldn't need that shoe.
Yep.
Right, and we've had people in our gym with ankle issues, and after working out barefoot for some time, they don't anymore.
Yeah.
Right, the body adapts; they get that mobility back, the joints stretch, and get their range of motion to where it needs to be. And I love barefoot training. I love running barefoot, sprinting barefoot. You're up on your toes anyway. All martial arts are done, not all, I shouldn't say all martial arts. I actually used to train in shoes in martial arts when I was in my Jeet Kune Do schools, but we would train in wrestling shoes, which is essentially a minimalist shoe. There's it's a flat bottom. But, if you have a fear of training barefoot, you really shouldn't, right?
Yeah, we get a lot of people when they start like TFW, we'll do lifting, and they're like, you guys lift barefoot? Like,
do everything barefoot.
Like, isn't the weight going to hit your feet? I'm like, not if you're doing it right.
Actually, and I think you become ultra aware when you're barefoot. Like you're aware of everybody around you, or where your feet are, or where you're placing
Absolutely.
stuff.
I get a lot of crap at work for it. Don't knock until you try it. That's all I gotta say.
You work barefoot?
I would love to work barefoot if I could.
Well, you know what? What's funny is I once in a while I'll go to another gym in town just for a change of scenery for me, and just because you never you don't want to be in the same place all the time. But I will, because I'm so used to working out barefoot here, I wear shoes in there, and I got shoes that are next to nothing. They're flat bottoms. But like if I'm on a piece of equipment, I'll slip my shoes off and use it. And I had somebody come up and say, hey, that's unsanitary. And I said, I promise you, the bottom of my feet are cleaner than the bottom of your shoes.
Yeah.
Like, what would make you think my feet are dirtier than the bottom of your shoes, where you just walked out over all God and creation and stepped in everything and anything? Like, what do you think your shoes are cleaner than my feet? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Right? So if it's a sanitary thing, like just because somebody's feet smell, okay, that's one thing. But why would you think somebody's feet are dirtier than the bottom of somebody else's shoes?
Well, and they should be cleaning that equipment pretty regularly anyways.
Yeah, but I guess just basic sanitation says my feet have to be cleaner than your shoes. Like, I don't know why anybody would thinking, like, that's why we don't let shoes pass the front door here, right? You take your shoes off, no shoes back in the training area, because we'll contaminate. People are laying on the floor, their faces on the floor, their bodies are on the floor. We don't want the world on these mats, which
don't
is
want
what
no
would
dog
happen.
poo-poo or anything,
Which is what would happen if you brought shoes in here.
Right.
So the sanitation thing, like I'll trust people's feet before I'll trust people's shoes every day.
That's the one thing I get all the time at work. It's not sanitary.
How do you figure?
It's what I don't get. How they figure it's not
They
sanitary.
probably read it on the
Now,
internet.
if I was walking around outside
And then walked in.
and then walked in here, okay, because whatever I've been stepping in now comes in
Right.
here, right? But if I take my shoes and socks off, assuming I've showered in the last 48 hours,
Which hopefully everyone has.
hopefully, all right. But even then, like, sweat doesn't mean it's unsanitary, right?
Yeah.
Actually, sweat
Right,
is
cleans
sterile
itself,
if you
yeah.
think about it, because otherwise, if it was toxic, you would die.
Right.
It's 'cause but I don't know. So, barefoot training's safe. Now, you do have to be careful. Like, if you got bad ankles, right? Actually, you have a flatter foot strike, you should be more stable with barefoot. But, plyometrics gets scary sometimes for people when they're barefoot. They don't feel like they got a sound platform to land on. But, so a lot of times running shoes especially, the soles are too soft, and you'll turn an ankle much faster in a shoe running and jumping than you will flat-footed barefoot.
Yeah, I don't
in a
think
lot
I've
of
ever turned an
cases.
ankle being barefoot working out.
I don't know, but I guess
better knock on wood.
think about it.
Yeah.
When you're at home, like, think about this. Like, when you get off, when you've been at work all day, and you've been on your feet all day, or even when I'm driving, like, what's the best feeling in the world?
Taking your shoes off.
Taking your
walking
shoes off.
barefoot.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the best feeling in the world because they've been restricted all day long, and we know throughout the day our feet swell, and then that's why if you buy running shoes, you should buy like a half a size to a size bigger because your feet swell. But the best feeling in the world is taking your shoes off. Just think about that.
Yes, sir.
Right? I love, like, when I'm on a plane, I take my shoes off. I'm like, oh, that feels so good.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
On the way to I remember flying back from Thailand, you did that. You took your
my-
shoes
I
off.
walked around
My shoes
barefoot the
my
whole
shoes
time.
are off the whole time, too.
Yeah, I think mine.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, I
so,
usually take mine off
like,
as well.
if it's such a good feeling to take your shoes off, just think about that concept right there. Does it make sense that it's good for your body to work out?
That's why nudists like to be naked, man. They don't want to wear clothes. It's the same concept.
Right. So,
This is just a translation.
Hey,
I pulled up a few articles. One on T Nation. Now you can say what you want about T Nation as a website,
I like
but
it. It's good. I think it's a good website.
there's some good things on it about barefoot training. We know that faulty foot and ankle mechanics can impact muscle function and impact biomechanics and athletic movement, and that can be enhanced by shoes, or it can actually be caused by shoes or having the wrong shoes. You actually, Tim, you had issues running until you got different shoes.
Yeah, I have the Brooks addiction. So I have the sole and heel of my shoe is rock freaking hard. But yeah, I can run now 5K, 10K, and before I would do it and my knees would just ache for days. And now I can run one, get back, take my shoes off, and I'm good.
Yeah, and the article goes on to say that shoes actually act as a crutch and weaken the feet. Like, you can have weak feet. Like, there's something to be said for strong feet. If you have a strong foot, you have a strong foundation, right? And shoes can actually increase foot and ankle issues as much as fix them. In many cases, probably do worse damage than they're doing good. There's another article that says, not only do shoes act like a crutch, contributing to foot and ankle dysfunction, barefoot minimalist training is the ideal way to train, but your body must be properly prepared first, right? So, yeah, it's going to feel weird at first. And if you've never trained barefoot, you probably don't have any calluses on your feet, so you're going to probably wear them raw for a little bit. So you got to ease your way into it.
And once you get them and go get that pedicure, do not let them take them
Yeah,
off. Because I
don't.
made that mistake one time and came back and holy smokes to my feet. They were like raw.
The best way to prepare yourself is just start walking around barefoot.
Yeah.
Like, walk around your yard, walk around the street, toughen your feet. I remember when I was little, my Uncle Bobby used to walk around barefoot. And why do you do it? He goes, oh, it's good for you. Toughen your feet up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh yeah, genius. Like, it's genius. And that was like 40 years ago. That he's telling us this.
He should have had a website.
Website on the interweb that did not exist.
Hey, man. Trendsetter.
No doubt. Wearing shoes every day, all the time, over and over, it just weakens the feet, which then again weakens the lower leg and weakens just the whole structure. And a lot of times bad posture is a result of shoes. Like, bad posture starts with the feet. You correct that. You start to correct posture.
I tell you what, I used to have issues with my back all the time until I started walking barefoot majority of the time. Feels wonderful now.
Yeah, no doubt. Go for it, guys. I think, if you're afraid of it, I get it. Ease your way into it. But really, at the end of the day, there's nothing to be afraid of barefoot training. Other than, a training partner dropping something on your foot, but then you should really consider changing partners.
Yeah, and make sure you keep them toes clean too when you come in here. Don't come in with no eagle talons trying to pick fish up and stuff like that. You got to trim them toes and keep them looking.
But that's just kind of an etiquette of martial arts, trimming your
for sure.
fingernails and toenails.
Just hygiene too.
I'm just throwing it out there, man.
Just hygiene.
Just trying to be a good friend out here.
That's a first.
So if you want to try barefoot training, come hang out with us.
I'm gonna head kick him
and we'll do it
with my clean toes.
With your bare foot.
Right, put my bare foot upside your bare head.
No doubt. All right, guys, that's about all the time we have. Again, before we go, I want to remind you, our self-defense happy hour is Friday, September 7th. Free of charge. Just come on out, hang out with us. We'll talk self-defense, we'll talk awareness, and give you some tips to help you stay safe out there. And then maybe we'll venture out to a local watering hole to hang out and chat some more and socialize, which I think would be great to meet some of our listeners.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is open invite to anybody listening to The Answer, 94.5 FM or 1420 AM. Not just to our show, but to any show. If you tune in to Chip Maxwell, come hang out. Maybe we'll get Chip out here.
Yeah,
That'd be
there you
kind of cool. I'll have to get Chip out here and do that as well. And actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get on. I'll be on the show. Actually, I'm trying to get out there every Friday. I love going on Chip's show every Friday, and I'll coach him into doing it.
There you go.
Hey, I already announced that you're going to be there, so it's
already official.
You got to come.
Once it's on the radio and the internet, it's nothing but the truth.
It's nothing but the truth. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Tune in each Saturday morning with fun banter on what it takes to live a healthier, happier, and more vibrant life in the Big O. Treadmills and Tangents with Coach Aaron Cerrone and his army of wellness warriors.